All right, so here we are. It's me, once again, Thick Smith, aka Thick Gumpla. I am going to be changing my name to Thick Gumpla on Twitch. I just need to change my banner, which I'll get to eventually. I'm kind of lazy. Sometimes I'm really tired and run a restaurant when I'm not doing this. It's awkward. But anyway, today I just wanted to talk about Gundam Hathaway's Flash, the newest and obviously probably the best Gundam movie that's come out in a while. There's so much to get into. I'm gonna try and keep it short because I don't want to talk too much. Editing long-winded videos is kind of not my thing. Let's see where to begin. The biggest elephant in the room obviously is probably one of the visuals of Hathaway's Flash. They obviously sunk a lot of money into it, and it shows with how just beautiful it is. I can tell it's a huge setup for whatever's going to happen in the next movie. I'm assuming they're going to call it Hathaway Flash Part 2 or 1, 2, 3 with it. I'm not quite sure. That's another thing though. The setup for the next movie was huge. Like, it left me wanting more by the end of it. And it was such, at the very end, it was such a teaser almost. I feel like this movie was kind of a long preview for whatever they have cooking up for the next couple movies, and I'm not mad about it. Alright, so right here, I'm going to go ahead and put my spoiler warning. If you have not watched it, I'm about to start talking about things that are in the movie instead of just overview blanket statements. So if you haven't seen it yet and you want to see it and you don't want to be a spoiler, I don't want to be the guy to ruin the movie for you, because I wouldn't want someone to ruin it for me if I hadn't seen it. So click off now or go watch another one of my videos, or maybe I'm streaming right now. Go hit up Thick Gumpla on Twitch. But anyway, I digress. So let's start with the visuals. It's the biggest part of, it's the biggest elephant in the room. It's such a beautiful movie as far as the color, the saturation, the animation's pretty good. There are a few janky frames. We'll go over that. No, it does seem like it does lower the resolution or like the image quality in some parts, but I think that's because they had such good CGI on everything else, honestly, that they pulled it back a little bit in certain parts. I could tell, like in the very beginning when they're on the ship inbound for Earth, and the fake Mafty shows up and tries to kill everyone. That's what they were intending on doing in the first place. So there's one scene in particular where like their faces were just like dot line. It looked like a ditto, but I can appreciate it because they didn't decide to go in and do CGI faces, which hasn't really been too good. It's weird because like the one that comes to mind is Berserk when it comes to bad 3D animation. I'm a huge Berserk fan, but one thing that doesn't get brought up is how good it can be done as well. If you look at things like Ruby, that's a pretty good series. Not gonna lie, I like it. But anyway, back to Hathaway. The CG was perfect, amazing. It was like perfect. I loved it. I don't have any complaints about the visuals in the movie except for like small gripes. Gigi's eyes were really striking to me because everyone's gonna be simming for Gigi regardless of that's just the new person to simp over in Gundam. That's how it works. There's always one. The mom from Build Divers, yeah, went pretty hard for her. I do like the fact that they didn't make her like 16 again. Like the whole quest thing, that's always been a tough spot for me in Gundam, where they always have like these like female characters that are underage and giving like, I don't know, the love interest of someone much older. It just doesn't sit well with me. Let's see here. Oh, as far as one thing that did stand out, I really didn't like was the last scene, of course, with Hathaway and the janky 3D walk away into the sunset. That they should have just animated that. It sunk a whole bunch of money into just animating, hand drawing something really nice for the last of it. As far as the CG for the mechs goes, they've always done a lot better with the mechs, but I feel like they are robots, so they're supposed to move like that. It's not supposed, like, there's no, whenever they stretch the frame, I don't know, they call them stretch frames or something, where they distort the shape to meet up with how the object needs to move. I feel like that's one thing 3D animation can't do, and it's like 60 frames per second, so it's very off-putting to the eye when you can see something do like this that should be, you know, blurry. That's one thing that throws people off. I feel like the mobile suit designs in the movie, you know, it's the Z and the Penelope, they're thick. Thick is kind of our thing here. It's what we do. We be thick and we build Gunpla. If I have to pick one over the other, I kind of like the design of the Penelope. I feel like it is a little bit of overkill. The Z just has a couple things to it that, like the curved V-fin antenna is something that I personally think is pretty cool. I don't know how everyone else dropped down in here and have a discussion. This is one of the reasons I wanted to make a video, to see if I can get anyone who wanted to have a discussion with me about it down in the comments section, because I want to see what other people's opinions are and how they feel about it. Moving on, you know, the plot of Hathaway's Flash. It does the same things that Gundam always has, but I feel like it's a lot more refined. It's like a slow build-up. The entire movie feels like a slow build-up the entire time. It's not really any, it's not too actiony. It's not too, verbally driven. Like, not too much exposition or anything like that at certain times. It breaks it up quite well, and I do like that about it. It seems like it's the first hour and a half of a 5-hour movie, as it should be, and as I'm assuming as it was pretty much intended. I hope they've already done the other two and are just waiting a year to release it instead of finishing one, doing it, finishing one, doing it, finishing one, doing it. Because the outstanding success of this movie is going to make sure they're able to. They could put the next part out tomorrow if they wanted to financially. The Mafty versus Hathaway. Like, when you realize that Hathaway is Mafty, so to speak, or like he's the leader of Mafty, or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really go over that. It's very cryptic, and that's part of that leaving me wanting more, wanting to know more, wanting to see more about the movie, that I appreciate, but also I know at the end of the day it all comes down to selling plastic, and that's they got me. They got me. I'm going to be buying lots and lots of plastic from them, you know, Bandai. And this movie just makes it a lot easier to do. The classic Anaheim double cross, where they have, oh, here's this well-made mobile suit, and then a couple years later, like a little bit later, they're like, here's pretty much the same mobile suit, but different and better, and they give it to whoever I guess they think they want to win, or whoever's going to profit the most. I'm not sure. Anaheim is Anaheim, and they're going to be right alongside these people committing war crimes until the sun explodes in the Universal Century universe. No, I'll call you later. But yeah. It still blurs the lines between good and bad, just like any other good UC movie OVA mainline series has. You always have questions about the first, you always have questions about, alright, this is obviously the good guy and this is the bad guy. But then as you go on, progressively you're like, wait, why are they doing this? Why, if the Federation's so good, why do they have these manhunt squads going around? You start to see the Federation grow to the point where you start to see fascism and fascist tendencies come out of the Federation. So you kind of want Mafty to do something about it, but at the same time, the way Mafty goes about it is literally blowing up buildings and killing officials and just assassinating people, which I understand. Okay, but anyway. Let's see here. Yeah, I also, but on the same key though, with Hathaway being over it, I know they're saying he's the next Char Aznavour, but I don't see it going the direction as Zeon did. I feel like I can't even really tell you where I think it's gonna go, what it's gonna do. I haven't read the mangas. Please, I mean, so if you know where I can read them, drop that down there too. I'd like to know. I haven't read any of the mangas, so I don't know how it ends. There are people that know how it ends, and I know a lot of people have seen the, it's been ruined a little bit, but we all know, we know what happens to Hathaway. Everyone's seen the one panel of him tied to a post. But, let's see here, what else? Oh yeah, other than that, that's, pretty much most of my ideas about the movie. If you have anything else interesting to say, I know I'm kind of unorganized here, but I really am. I'm not that good with script writing yet, so just bear with me. And I appreciate whoever watches this, and I will get this edited together and throw it online. Hopefully, how much time do I got? Maybe before I go to work today. Who knows?